Good morning, honorable judges and fellow competitors. My name is Michael from Taoyuan. Today I'm going to tell you a story called Such a Silly, Senseless Servant. Such a silly, senseless servant. An important Taiwan judge had a very silly servant, despite the fact he was a numbskull. But the servant was very kind-hearted, and so the judge, who can never bring himself to fire him. One day, when the judge had heard his servant has been put in the jail, he quickly asked him why. And the servant replied, "Oh, nothing much. I saw a rope lying on the ground and picked it up." "What?" cried the judge. "Why do they punish you so harshly for picking up a piece of rope?" And the servant replied, Well, I didn't notice there was a cow on the other end of it." And the judge scratched his head and said to himself, "Such a silly, senseless servant." Another time, when the judge called his servant to come back to the house. "Come back! Hey, quickly!" And the servant shouted, "Okay, just as soon as I hide my spade over here in the last row." When the servant went back to the house, the judge scolded him. "You fool! You shouldn't yell so loudly for everyone to hear. Every thief in town will know where you've hidden your spade." And the servant quickly to go back outside to find his spade. The spade was gone. He go back to the house and whispered to the judge, "You're right. A thief has stolen my spade." And the judge said, "It's too late to whisper now. The spade's already been stolen." And he rolled his eyes and said to himself, "Such a silly, senseless servant." Another day, when the judge was walking to a meeting, he looked down and found a problem. One boot is red and one boot is blue. He told his servant, "Please bring these back and bring back a good pair." But when the servant came back, he was empty-handed. "Where on earth are the boots I tell you to bring?" cried the judge. The servant replied, "Well, I've bad news for you. The pairs at home were exactly the same you were wearing. One is blue and one is red. They'll be just as strange." And the Taiwan judge said, "You should either bring 2 are red or 2 are blue." At last, he jumped and cried to himself, "Such a silly, senseless servant." From there on, the servant's foolishness will at least once a day cause him sigh and say, "Such a silly, senseless servant." Thank you everybody for listening to my story.